Toasty makeup this, toasted teddy that. What about the berry tones? The girls need to bring back the berry tones for fall. Especially if you have dark skin, you should try a berry blush, a berry eye, a berry lip. It'll eat. I promise it'll eat. Hello my loves, my name is Jasmine and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing my first fall makeup look of the season, and today I chose to go a little bit out of the box. I know toasty makeup, toasted teddy makeup has been trending, latte makeup, all of those things, which I absolutely love and adore. But girls, if you have dark skin, you need to dip into those berry tones. You need to try those berry tones because it eats on our skin. So today we're going to be doing this fall berry makeup look, and if you would like to see how I achieved it, keep on watching. Okay, so today we're going to start with eyes. I'm using the Huda Beauty Icy Nude palette. I'm not sure if they sell this anymore. I hope they do. If so, I'll link it on the video and in the description. But we're going to keep it pretty simple on the eyes today because today's look is really all supposed to be very cohesive. One thing is not supposed to stand out more than the other, but that doesn't mean we're going to leave the eyes naked. I just primed my eyes with concealer and used some pressed setting powder to set it into place. I'm going to start with the shade Unapologetic, which is this light purple shade, and using a flat but fluffy eyeshadow brush, I'm going to apply this to my lid. This is a really nice muted berry color, and I'm bringing it up to my crease but not beyond that. Next, I'm going to go into the shade Lavish on a fluffier eyeshadow brush, and I'm just going to use this to diffuse the edges of the eyeshadow. This is really mainly going to be in the crease. We're not going to bring it all the way up to the brow bone. You really shouldn't need too much of this, and that's all we're going to do for the eye. We're going to keep it really simple today. Let me do the other eye and then we'll come back and do the base. Okay, I did add one other small thing to the eye. I mixed the shades Faux Fur and She's Rich, these two deep purple shades, on a little eyeliner brush, and all I did was I just lined my lash line. Let me bring you in a little closer so you can see. I just lined my lash line like this. I thought it gave some more depth to the eye. I'm not gonna wing it out or anything. I just wanted to add a little bit of outline, and I feel like it brings out the brown in my eyes a little bit more too, which we love. And that's it. Okay, now let's get into this base. I really want kind of a satin finish to my skin, so I'm not going to completely mattify my skin. I'm going to start with the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Glow Serum. This is in the shade Juice Boost, and I'm going to apply this to the perimeters of my face just to give my skin a little bit of an extra glow. I did my skincare routine hours ago, so I could use a little bit of a boost. For my primer, I'm going to be using the One Size Secure the Blur primer. I'm basically going to use this in any of the areas of my face that I have visible pores. This is just going to smooth those out and make us appear like we have smaller pores than we actually do. Now we are going to color correct the skin. I'm going to use my Huda Beauty color corrector. Y'all, I have heard that Huda Beauty has finally dropped packaging for her concealers and color correctors. I need to get that very soon, so don't be surprised if you see me using the Huda Beauty concealers again, because the reason I stopped using them was because the packaging was so messy, but I'm so happy that she actually listened and repackaged them so that we can enjoy them without it spilling everywhere. I literally don't even use the applicator. I just use my brush and take all the excess product off of the side because it leaks so badly. I'm just color correcting any hyperpigmentation I might have so that we can use less foundation and have a more even skin tone. Now we're going to apply a foundation. Like I said, I really wanted to give kind of a satin finish today, not too matte but also not too glowy, and I recently got the Natasha Denona Hy-Glam foundation. Y'all know I absolutely love the concealer, so I was super excited when I saw the foundation came out, and I think this is the perfect skin-like foundation. So I'm just going to apply this to the skin. By the way, I'm using the shade RN9 and it matches me perfectly. Of course, always make sure you blend your foundation down your neck. See that like before and after? It looks like my skin, but a little better. Yes, exactly. I haven't used a new foundation in a long time. I'm pretty much a creature of habit when it comes to certain products. Like I definitely do use more than one foundation, but I don't try new ones that often, especially unless they're sent to me. But this one I actually went out and bought myself. Natasha Denona, please put me on your PR list. If you see this, not likely, but I would love to be on Natasha Denona's PR list. But I went out to buy this one specifically because I adore the concealer, and I already knew that the foundation was going to be amazing as well, so I had to. And you see the just silky satin, I meant satin. You see the satin finish that it just gives to my skin. I look very skin-like. It looks like my skin has this natural glow from within type of look. That's exactly what we want, especially since we're gonna put on a bunch of powder as well, because once our makeup wears throughout the day, the glow from this foundation and from our skin prep and such is going to come through and give us that beautiful skin-like finish. For my cream bronzer today, I'm going to be using the Essence Baby Got Bronze Stick in the shade 60. Yes, in the shade 60, Crush on Caviar. I'm using this one specifically because this is a bronzer. It does give warmth to my skin, but I would say this one is a little bit more neutral than other bronzers that I have in my collection, and I think that would just go perfectly with a berry blush. If you like to contour, you should definitely use a contour as well. I personally just prefer bronzer over contour, so that's why I'm using this one. I always recommend this one to people, whether you're a baddie on a budget, whether you're a beginner, or whether you're more advanced, because it's just all around a great product. But also, it's only $5 at Ulta. You cannot beat that. You cannot beat that. Now on to one of the parts I'm most excited for, our cream blush. I have so many berry cream blushes, it was so hard to choose. I even have some new ones I haven't tried yet, so I just had to pick. Today we are trying the Charlotte Tilbury Unreal Blush Healthy Glow Stick. This is in the shade Berry Glow. My best friend Gloria, I'm sure you all know her if you consume dark skin beauty content. She helped Charlotte Tilbury formulate some of these shades, which is so amazing, so I'm super excited to try it out. This is the most gorgeous berry shade. Let's put it on the cheek. Oh wow, that was so creamy. I expected it to be a little bit more stiff, but it really just glided onto the cheek beautifully. Let's blend it in. Wow, that is stunning. That is so pretty, and it blended in literally in 2 seconds. That is so nice. That is so pretty. Let's do some on the other side as well. Just one swipe and you get all this pigment. Okay, Charlotte Tilbury. That's beautiful. That is stunning, and it gives the most gorgeous glow to the skin. Just for fun, and because I like applying a lot of blush, let's do another new one. This is the Too Faced Cloud Crush Whipped Lip and Cheek Color. So you can use this both on the lips and the cheeks. This is in the shade Love Potion. I'm going to apply this to the high points of my cheeks. That is a beautiful berry shade. I can already tell. That is stunning, and I'm gonna blend it in. I think this one is supposed to have more of a matte formula, which I like because it's not often that liquid or cream blushes come in a matte formula, because I can tell it's kind of mattifying the Charlotte Tilbury blush the slightest bit, which I actually like. That's super pretty as well. As always, I'm gonna use my Natasha Denona concealer. This one is in the shade NR15, and I'm going to apply this directly under the eyes. I don't want to do too much concealer today under the eyes because I really want the blush to be the focus, and I don't want to bring the concealer all the way out. I kind of want to keep it more contained to the center, and I'm just applying this all over my face. And then I'm going to take the shade NY12, which is my highlight shade, and I'm going to apply in the inner corner, kind of overlapping the darker shade. It looks pretty much like my same placement, but just a little bit more compact. Okay, I just allowed the concealer to sit for a couple of minutes, and now I'm going to blend it in. I personally prefer to blend my under eye in last so that it has the most amount of time to kind of build up that coverage. Even though we let it sit for a few minutes already, it's just my preference. It really doesn't matter which thing you blend first. I also just like to blend my under eye as soon as, or set my under eye as soon as I'm done blending it. So we're gonna get our pressed powder ready as well. For today's pressed powder, I'm gonna use the Kosas powder in the shade Pillowy. I'm really getting a lot of use out of this. You can see literally the indent where I've been using it. I love this powder. It's so good, and I feel like it's really underrated as well. So I'm going to blend out my under eye one at a time. We're gonna start by blending the darker shade and blending it into our blush, and then we're gonna blend in the lighter shade. I completely forgot to apply the powder to my powder puff, so I'm gonna do that without looking down, and then I'm going to set my under eye into place. Like, it's just so smooth. It looks so smooth. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side, blending out the deeper shade first and blending it into the blush so that we have that seamless finish. And then we're gonna blend out the lighter shade with a second brush into the deeper shade, switching back and forth between brushes to make sure we have the most flawless blend. And then without looking down, we're gonna go in with our powder. Perfection. I also like to use a powder brush, a tapered powder brush, to set the other areas. I added concealer to have those areas remain as bright as possible so that we maintain dimension on the face. It doesn't need to be as bright as our under eye or anything, but we don't want it to all kind of be one-dimensional. If you want to kind of maintain the pigment and the glow of the cream blush, all you have to do is take the brush you used to apply it or to blend it in and just blend over the edges of the pressed powder. You don't want to apply any more product so you don't move the powder too much, but this will kind of help maintain that pigment. Next, I'm going to go in with my Makeup Forever HD Skin Matte Velvet Powder Foundation. I'm in the shade 4N74. I've really been enjoying this powder, and I'm just using a powder brush to set the rest of my makeup into place. I'm even going over the cream blush so that it's not just wet on my face. As you can see, the glow is still coming through, but you know, it's not unset. And I'm still gonna go over the areas we added concealer so that those areas are not too bright. And make sure you don't forget to set your neck as well, because we did apply foundation there. Anywhere we added creams or liquids, you have to apply powder to set it into place. For my loose setting powder, I'm going to take the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Powder Duo. This is the pink pumpkin shade, and I'm actually not going to mix them together. If you want to see a review on this powder, I did review both of the shades, pink pumpkin and the other shade, what is it called? Cherry Peach. I reviewed both of these. Go view my shorts if you want to see what I thought. Today I'm only going to use this kind of deep purpley pink side because I think it'll blend into the blush so nicely, so I'm only going to open that side and distribute it into the cap. And using a powder puff, I'm going to apply this to my skin. I'm really trying to focus it in the center of my face mostly. I will often go all the way out with my loose setting powder, but we're not going to do that today. We're going to try to keep it very central. This is such a unique powder shade as well. I love Huda Beauty powders so much. I've literally been using them my entire makeup career, pretty much. Not entire, okay, I won't say entire, but for such a long time, like from when I first started makeup, and it's just so good. It's so good. And now I'm going to use the other side of the duo, the deeper, more peachy shade. I'm going to use this on a powder brush to kind of set the other areas of my face. I just feel that a peachy shade like this one kind of flatters my skin tone a little bit better for the rest of my face. I almost forgot to bake the bridge of my nose. Perfect. Now we are going to bronze up the skin. I'm taking my Juvia's Place bronzer and I'm using the deeper shade to bronze up my skin. The Juvia's Place bronzer will forever be a favorite. It just flatters my skin so nicely. I don't know why hair is getting on my face. That clip is not doing its job. Bronze my jaw as well. And then I'm using the peachier powder from Huda Beauty to bake underneath my bronzer. And then of course we're going to immediately wipe it away. Now I'm going to press in the bake under the eyes. It is such a stunning shade of powder. I love it. And then using a powder brush, I'm just going to sweep the excess powder away and kind of blend it into the skin. Now I'm going to use my Charlotte Tilbury setting spray to kind of melt these powders into my skin. I'm going to cover up my eyes so that we don't mess up our eyeshadow. I'm like trying to figure out how to spray my nose. I can't. There we go. For my powder blush today, I'm going to be using the Patrick Ta blush in the shade She's Wanted. This is such a stunning blush for deep skin. It is so beautiful. I remember I was so excited when this came out because it's just the most beautiful berry shade of blush. I'm just sweeping it onto the highest points of my cheeks When I'm using a deeper blush, I don't like to bring it too close to my under eye. And next I'm going to take this Kosas powder blush. This is in the shade Chills, I believe. I don't know if this is the Blush is Life blush in the shade Chills or the, yeah, I think so. And it's this really unique shade. It has some swirls in it that are really cool. And I don't remember how pink or how berry this pulls, but I know it's lighter than the Patrick Ta one. So I'm going to take this one and apply it a little bit closer to my under eye. Okay, so it does pull a little bit more berry. I'm glad I didn't place it directly under the eye because this is actually deeper than I remember it being. It's really pretty though. Okay, now I'm gonna take this powder from Beauty Creations. This is in the shade Pink About It. And I'm gonna use this to kind of blend my under eye and blush together, and also to brighten my under eye, of course, but so that everything blends together seamlessly with no harsh lines, I'm gonna use this blush to kind of marry the two together. Not blush, I'm sorry, powder. Like I said, I don't like to bring deeper blushes too far up under my eyes because I feel that it darkens the under eye, which we do not want. We want it to remain as bright as possible. So I think this pink toned powder is really gonna help. Sorry if I'm kind of sinking down. Sometimes I don't realize when I do that, and I need to stop so that y'all can see what I'm doing. Okay, I've just applied some mascara and a lash. Today's mascara is the Pat McGrath Dark Star Mascara. This came out such a long time ago and I was asleep on it. It's really nice. And then for my lash, I'm wearing the Lily Lashes half lashes in the style Dreamy. I've been really into half lashes. I love how they still show my eyeshadow while still giving me volume and a little bit more length than I naturally have. I'm going back into the Huda Beauty Icy Nude palette, and I'm going to take this beige shade right here called Cold Plunge. I'm taking it on a small eyeshadow brush. I'm taking it on a small but dense eyeshadow brush, and I'm going to pop this in my inner corner. I love a matte inner corner. If you know me, you know. I think it just makes you look so much more awake in a natural and subtle way rather than using something shimmery. And you can build it up as much as you want. I'm keeping it pretty subdued. Okay, now it's time for lips. I'm gonna start with the Fenty Beauty Traced Out Lip Liner in the shade Bored Hoe, and I'm gonna line the perimeter of my lips. I'm doing a pretty thin line. I'm gonna take another shade of the Fenty Beauty Lip Liner. This one is in the shade They So Vine. I'm gonna line inside of the first liner. This is gonna create a nice ombre, and I'm gonna blend the two together. In the center of my lips, I'm going to take a deep nude shade. This is the Morphe Lip Filter lipstick in the shade Souffle, and I'm going to dab this in the center of my lips. This is pretty similar to my natural lip shade, and I'm going to blend it into the liners. This is going to ensure the lip is not too purple. Okay, now I'm going to line the lip liner with the Maybelline Lifter Gloss in the shade Taffy. It's this really beautiful deep berry shade. And then I'm going to use the NARS Afterglow Lip Shine. This is in the shade Nympho. And again, I'm using a brown shade like this to match the lipstick so that my lip doesn't get too purple. As you can see, it's pretty much the same shade as the lipstick. And now I'm just going to mix them together. Isn't that pretty? That's exactly what I was going for. And here is the completed makeup look. I love how this came out. It's very fall, and it's nothing too bold that you couldn't wear it every day if you wanted to. I mean, for me, this is every day, but I know for some this might be super full glam. Okay, it is full glam, but I would wear it every day. You know what I mean. It's not super bold on the colors, but it does kind of have that fall touch to it because of the berry tones in the eyes that are very subtle, the cheek and the lip. And I love how this turned out. Definitely let me know if you will be trying some berry tones this fall and if you like this makeup look. And yeah, that's the end of the video, guys. Please make sure to give this video a like and leave a comment down below. Make sure you also subscribe to my channel and turn on the post notification bell so you don't miss another video from me. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!